I have the privilege this morning of also introducing our guest speaker, fellow Unity minister, Dr. Reverend, which goes first, Reverend Dr. Reverend Ahriana Platten. She is an ordained Unity minister, the founder of Soulful World, an online global wisdom community serving people from over 50 countries. Ahriana is a wisdom keeper, a practical mystic, and a best-selling author whose mission is to teach tools and techniques that help people connect authentically and directly with divine source. Ahriana was the senior minister at Unity Spiritual Center of the Rockies, do I have that right, in Colorado Springs for 11 years. She has since retired a couple years ago, and doing lots of other great things. I'll let her share that with you. She's here with her husband, Mark, this morning, who they both, we're so grateful to have them. Her first time here speaking here, and I'm just so glad to have you here. She's got 5 grown sons and a handful of grandkids, and we're just so grateful to have you here, Ahriana. So come on up, and everybody welcome Reverend Ahriana.
There we go. Good morning. What a powerful, powerful service you have here. Laura, you brought me to tears. Thank you. So let me ask you a question. Would you say that you are God expressing? Would you agree with that statement? I am God expressing. And so if you are God expressing, then you are the hands and the feet and the moving energy of God expressing, yes? Yes. Okay. Would you say you are the voice of God expressing? Yes. Do you think about that after you're out of here on the weekend? Yes. To be the voice of God expressing. What a powerful thing that is. Think about all the ways that we use our voice. Each time we open our mouth to breathe, to speak, to sigh. Just sigh with me. There's an immense power of God in that, isn't there? Did you feel your shoulders kind of lower a little bit? Your body kind of relax? Whether you call it God or love or source or great spirit, doesn't matter to me. Do it again. Breathe in. So what if every time you do that in your own body, you relax the world? What if you knew that every single time you relax yourself, you relax the world? You might sigh a little more often, right? I mean, truly, think about what's going on in our world today. Think about how much stress and pressure there is in our world today. And think about the fact that all you really have to do is intentionally take a deep breath, do it with me, and sigh. Amazing. Amazing to think about the power you have if you are God expressing. If you are the hands and the heart and the voice and the holy movement of God expressing. This is why I think people in unity need to stop for a minute and ask themselves if they really want to be in unity. Because we know something not everybody knows. We know that we're God. We are the living, moving energy of the holy expressing in the world. That comes with accountability and responsibility, doesn't it? With the responsibility to pay attention to what's happening around us, to respond ably to the difficulties and the challenges that are going on in our world. To recognize that the way we hold ourselves, the energy with which we hold ourselves, the way that we move in the world changes the world. Why? Because if I am God, and you are God, and you are God, and you are God, and you are God, and you way back in the corner are God expressing, then who are we? God expressing as a greater whole, aren't we? Imagine the power. Just look around this room. Actually, look around this room like the people that you're looking at are God expressing. How many of you are like, oh, please don't look at me? I mean, we have that, right? We have that sense of, oh, I'm not really sure. I want everyone to see me being God expressing. What's that about? You came here of your own volition. You got in your cars. Maybe you live around the corner and you walk down the road. However you got here, you rode your bike. You came here because you like what happens here and you like the message, and it empowers you to be your very best being in the world. And it has to be more than just this morning. It has to be every single day. It has to be waking up in the morning, and before you read the crummy headlines, remembering that you're God expressing. Remembering that we are interconnected with everyone and everything, because everything is energy. This is energy. This is energy. That is energy. The chair you're sitting in is energy. Science has already proven that. We don't even have to question if that's true. Science has proven to us that everything that we understand in the manifest world is energy, and that we are part of that energy. We emerge, all of us, from one field of energy. Call it what you want. I like to call it capital L, love. We emerge from one field, and that field is the same field that everything we see, feel, touch, know emerges from. We are connected to everything. That's why when you sigh, let's do it. That's why when you sigh, the whole world sighs with you. It lowers the stress, tension, worry. You don't even have to be in a room with anybody else to do it. You can just do it by yourself, and it affects the energy of the world. Every single time you bring yourself back to center, this is what our ancestors knew and know. What our ancestors knew and know is that we're all connected. We're all connected to everything. And when we talk about being the living, breathing, helping, aware presence of the divine, it's so much more than words. And it's also words. So I always pay attention to who walks in the door, who came, whose soul called them into this room. Because I bet there's 20 other rooms like this that you could be in this morning. But you didn't go to any of them. Your soul called you here because you have something, an awareness, something to give to the world during a really difficult time, during a time when people are still recovering from the pandemic, during a time when we're about to go into more political stress, during a time when we don't want to watch the news because it's crap, right? We don't want to know everything that's going wrong. During a time when we're struggling with exhaustion and burnout, when our society is dealing with addictions, when we're living in a time that feels very unsettled and uncertain, you got called here. You are not here by accident. You are not here just because it's your Sunday habit. You are not here because the coffee is good. You are here because the world needs you to be here this morning. And I got a clue for you. The world needs you to be here tomorrow, and the day after that, and the day after that, and the day after that. Because if what you get here goes with you every single day, The world is different. So how do we do this? How do we take what happens in this room and go out into the world with it tomorrow when we wake up and have to go to work or whatever it is we have to do? How do we do that? First of all, we do it with intention. We do it by making our life simple and sacred. So our ancestors engaged in many, many, many simple ceremonies. I want to tell you about one. I was in a circle, this happened in modern time, but it's an old teaching. I was in a circle overnight with about 40 people, and when we were done with our ceremony, it was a fire ceremony, when we were done with our ceremony about 2 o'clock in the morning, there was a young man who was part of the ceremony who lived out of town, and he wasn't able to take the bus home because the buses didn't run at that time. And I said, you can come and sleep on the couch at my house if you want. So he did. He came and spent the night at my house, and I got up in the morning, and he had come with a bedroll, and he laid it out on the floor when he went to bed very carefully. I noticed he was very careful about how he laid it out. When I got up in the morning, it was about 6 o'clock, which is a little early for me. I tend to wake a little later than that. And I got up and walked out, and he was awake and out on the terrace, and he had rolled up that bedroll all nice and perfect and tied this beautiful ribbon around it. And it was just sitting there as I walked out to get the coffee, and I noticed it and hollered at him and said, hey, when my kids get up, can you teach them to make their bed? And he smiled at me, and he walked back in and he said, my elder taught me that your bed is the altar upon which you lay your body to go into the dream time. So you never leave your bed unmade. You never roll out your bed until you're ready to lay in it. And when it's time to get up, you put your bed back together as though it's a holy and sacred place. And then it is. I have not one day since that time left my bed unmade, ever. What a powerful teaching that is. What a powerful, powerful teaching. That's really different than I make my bed because my mom said I have to. What if we taught our children, your bed is a holy place? If you thought your bed was a holy place, would you get out of it differently in the morning? Would it put you in a different frame of mind if you got up and thought, I'm going to take care of this altar where my body goes into the dream time? Yes. It would change how you felt when you began your day. What if you walked in the bathroom, pulled out the toothbrush, put the toothpaste on it, and instead of thinking to yourself, oh, what do I have to do today? I've got that meeting. What am I going to say in that meeting? What if you, instead of thinking about something else or mindlessly brushing your teeth, what if you took that toothbrush and you said a little prayer? As I clean my teeth and my mouth this morning, I open myself for the words of healing to come through me to everyone who hears my voice today. What if you used your life as a sacred prayer? All the things that you do every day that you think or don't think your way through. We do a lot of things kind of on autopilot, don't we? We brush our teeth. What if you got in the shower in the morning and said, I open myself to release everything that does not serve me as I move forward as the hands and heart of God today? What if you allowed the water to take from you what you don't need? Because the water is a living energy, isn't it? Because we already established that. Everything is alive. Everything is moving, living energy. We already know that. So can we allow the water to take from us? Absolutely. If you know what it is you want to release, you can speak to that or think to that. If you don't know what it is, simply open, like the song this morning. I open, I open, I open. Take what is no longer necessary for me. What if we lived our lives this way? Our ancestors prayed before they ate. They prayed before they hunted. They prayed before they slept. All of us, by the way, have indigenous elders because indigenous means we are of the earth, and we just happen to be from various different parts of the earth. So at some point, your elders lived very close to the earth. They paid attention to when the bugs came, because the bugs meant the birds were coming, and the birds meant the bigger prey would come, and they were going to eat. They let nature show them where food was. They were awake and aware and in their body and living wholly and fully a prayerful life. 100% everyone? Of course not. There's 75, 100 people in this room, I don't know. There are lots of people outside this door that will not live this way because they don't want to. Because they would like to get up in the morning and be upset. Here's what I want to tell you. Upset is good. Upset will give you a little boost of energy. If I'm seriously mad about something, I can get something. I can clean a closet like you would not believe. If I am mad, if I'm cleaning a closet, Mark will say, "Who made you mad today?" Good place for the energy. Getting up and being upset sometimes moves us through depression and sadness. It moves us through a time when we feel disempowered in the world. So there are people in our world who really are able to survive because being upset gives them that little energy. Otherwise, they wouldn't get up in the morning. But that's not you. I know that because you got up this morning. You got up, you made your way here, and when we were singing about opening to each other, I was turning around and watching you guys open and love into each other. Do really connect. Interesting little side miracle. The song Sanctuary is the song that I was ordained to. It was sung to me on my ordination. It's the song that we opened every service with for 11 years when I was at Unity Spiritual Center in the Rockies. How amazing is that would happen to be probably just a coincidence. When you live in a live, awake way, you are able to change the world. When you hold yourself in a certain energetic place, when you work to cultivate peace in your heart, then you bring peace into the world. People will say to you, "I don't know what you're doing, but whatever it is, you feel really good. I just love being around you. I just love being," what are you doing? Holding peace in a world that is troubled. These simple ceremonies I'm talking about, how you drive to work aware with the intention that I am heading to a place that needs the presence that I bring, that I am the perfect person to step into this arena because who I am brings peace and love and harmony into this, or intellect, or experience, or wisdom. Whatever it is that you bring to the place, it drives from your house in your car. Stop and acknowledge it. I bring this with me. Let it guide me through my day. Let this presence of the divine open me to what I would not see otherwise. Every single thing that happens in your life is a holy opportunity, a chance to do something more. And I speak to you most firmly about your responsibility as Unity people, as people of new thought. We need that new thought in the world. And the new thought is, it's not a God out there telling us what we have to do. It's the God in here we're living as that will change the world. 5,000 years ago, a religion called Hinduism started in what we now call India. 5,000 years. Phew. It's a long time ago. For 5,000 years, people have been using a sound to speak to and unite with God. So we have God inside, God outside, God all around, God expressing as us. Can we have all of those things? Yes. Whoever that is, it's God calling. Be sure and answer. So remember this. We want to say, oh, we don't believe in that guy up on the cloud. Okay, cool. But there is God here. There is God moving through us. There is God all around us. Because if I'm God and this is God and that's God and the chair you're sitting in is God, then God is all around us, right? So there's a sound we can use to bring ourselves into union with all things, to connect with all things. The sound is Om. Have any of you ommed in your life? Oh, good. We're going to have some fun then. So you may not know this, but when our Unity kids go to rally, they do something called a rolling Om. And a rolling Om it's not like having a leader who ohms and you try and repeat their pattern. A rolling Om means that we all ohm at our own pace. And when that happens, the sound stays really consistent. So you're going to breathe in, and then you're going to ohm in the same way that we don't all sigh at the same time, do we? So an Om is the same kind of thing. You cannot do it wrong, any more than you can sigh wrong. You breathe in, and instead of sighing, you simply allow the word Om to extend from yourself. Feel it here first in your heart. As you keep ohming, allow the Om to move through your body. And then allow the Om to escape, to connect with the Om around you. It takes a couple of ohms to get to that. I'm going to invite you to close your eyes. If you are with us on Zoom, your Om will not match my mouth. Don't look at my mouth because the sound is like a half a second off. So just close your eyes with us. And we're going to Om. Om as you are ready. And we'll Om. The Om will have its own life. Are you ready? I'm going to start. Put your hands up in the air as you Om. Keep ohming. Just put your hands up and allow that energy to move out from this place. Having your heart open. All the cells in your body vibrating. Noticing the connection. Notice the tingling you feel in your hands. There is real energy there. Think of someone you know who needs it. If you cannot think of someone, send it to Ukraine right now. Continue to Om. Gently open your eyes. How's your hands? A little bit more in there. Let it go. A little bit of power in this room, would you say? A little bit of power in this room. A little bit of power in the cells in your body. A little bit of power in your heart. That is the energy of capital L, love. You can do it together. You can do it alone. You can move that energy out when you feel like you can't change the world. I'm telling you, you can. The world is a much, much better place because you're in it. I encourage you to live from the God you are.